You going to Japan for the very first time and you're wondering what you can do for transportation while you're there, well, stick around and I'll explain to you what my family and I did while we were in Japan for our very first time. Welcome to High on Taiwan. I recently went to Japan with my family for the very first time, besides the typical layover that we had on our way to Taiwan or on the way back. But we got to actually stay in Japan in a hotel, and we got to travel around and got to see some things. This is our very first trip, and I'm going to explain to you what we did for transportation. There were two main ways we were able to travel around Japan to see different sites, to get around Tokyo, and we also took a trip to Kyoto. They were the J-Rail Pass and also the Suica card, or it's an IC card, is I guess the official way to say it. But it's this particular one's a Suica card. We use the J-Rail Pass the most, and there are some pros and cons to both of these options. If you are only going to be around Tokyo or wherever you land and stay in that general area, you might not want to get the JRL pass because it's a little expensive and there's some complications. This is super convenient. You're not going to save very much money with this, I don't think, but it's extremely convenient. You're going to save lots of time because all you do is you can buy the card, load it up with money. It's like a prepaid card, and you just boop, beep, pop, and you can get into any kind of trains, buses. This is just how you pay for it. Super convenient. You don't have to sit there fiddling around with cash trying to buy a ticket or anything like that. You just use the card, and there's a little place where you boop, beep it, and this is super convenient. This works on pretty much anything. You can even use it to pay for things at convenience stores, vending machines, and some restaurants. The JR Pass can save you money if you're going to travel long distances, like we went to Kyoto. There is a calculator on, I think it's their website or another website, travel website, where you can calculate where you're going to travel and see if it's worth buying this or not. If you're going to, like for us, from the airport to our hotel in Shinjuku and to Kyoto and back back to the airport, it was definitely worth it. We saved money this way. If you're, like I said, if you're only going to be traveling around one general area, it's not really going to save you too much money. This is a really good thing if you're going to travel the entire length of Japan. You can actually do that with this card because it works on any Japan Railway company's trains. The bullet train, we took the bullet train to Kyoto. You can go all the way from Hokkaido up in the north, all the way down to Kyushu. I don't think it connects to Okinawa because there's a bunch of islands, but there is a ferry. I don't remember where it is. There's a ferry you can go on. You can actually use this passport too. It doesn't work on other companies' railways. Not all the railways are owned by the same company. So it only works on the Japan Railway. It works on the monorail to the Haneda Airport. Works on the Narita Express from the Narita Airport. We actually had to do both because we landed in Narita, went to our hotel, and then we left in Haneda Airport. So we did both. But there are some complications, and these are the complications. First of all, this is very flimsy. It's just like a regular train ticket. Easy to rip. My son's ripped a little bit the very first day. It still worked. It's a little flimsy. If you're going to be in Taiwan or in Japan longer than what we were, 5 days, this is a little bit of an issue. You got to be really careful. Secondly, if you lose it, they will not replace it for you. We had the unfortunate experience of one of my sons lost his card when we went to Kyoto on the bullet train. So we had to buy an extra ticket, a one-way ticket back from Kyoto back up to Tokyo because they lost the card. We spent a long time trying to figure out what we can do. Stood in line for a long time to ask if there's any possibility that he can still get on the train because we had reservations for his seat. We just didn't have the JR pass. We had the reservation ticket, but not the JR pass. They said, nope, you just got to buy a new ticket. So we had to buy a new ticket, which cost $98. So that wasn't good. So if you're going to be in Japan for a long time, I mean, it's really useful, but just be really careful not to lose it, or you just out that money. So that's another issue. Um, this is super convenient. Like I said, super duper convenient. You're not going to save very much money. You will save money from this one. So another condition is that you have to order this ahead of time. You can't just buy it in Japan. This one you can buy at vending machines. My daughter bought hers at a vending machine. We actually, when I went through the line to get our JR pass, you have when you show up to Tokyo, you have to go to a place to pick up your pass, and you show them the documents, the paper that they mail to you. They actually mail to you a voucher. You take the voucher to the office when you get there to get the actual JR pass. And I stood in line for probably an hour. It was a really long line, and I went ahead and bought this at the same place from the same company, from the JR Rail company. But my daughter, when she arrived at a different airport. She just went to a vending machine and bought this, and she said it was super easy. So these you can get these anywhere, I guess. It's probably the best thing if you're only going to be like in one general area and not going to travel long distances. Um, Another problem with this is it stops working sometimes after a few days. This, I think it was the third day, mine stopped working. You're supposed to put it through in the slot and it comes out the other end, and you walk through the gate to get to the trains. Mine wouldn't work, so I went and stood in line for a long time, got a new one. They issued me a new one. I see the little like writing on here, and this one stamps. It took a long time, a lot of process. You have to have your passport with you and everything to get a new one. The next day, my son, daughter, and my wife, theirs stopped working. We already had one missing, so one of my sons, his stopped working. My wife stopped working, but then we realized it probably happens a lot because I'd see foreigners going through. There's a little section next to the gates where you walk through that you can talk to somebody, and we just show them the card and they look at it, and then we just keep going. So you don't actually have to put it through the machine. You can just show it to them. So if it stops working, it doesn't. It's kind of pointless to stand in line to get a new one. You can just show them this at the window, and then they'll let you through. So those are some issues. So JR Pass, in summary, JR Pass is really good if you're traveling long distances. You'll save a lot of money. Just don't lose it, and be careful with it. It's flimsy. The Suica card is really good, super convenient. You really only need this if you're gonna. You only need this if you're not going long distances. This is the only one you need. You don't really need this one, because this will work anywhere. Now, the good thing about this, though, I mean, if you're going to be in one area and not go long distance, but you're going to be there a long time, you can get like certain. Ours is only for 7 days. We weren't even there for 7 days. We're only there for 5 days. But you can get the longer time frames also, and then it might be worth it at that point if you're going to be traveling a lot every day, lots of places in the same area, but you can travel a lot for many days. It might be worth it. But this is definitely worth it if you're going long distances. This is super convenient. So they're both good options. If you found this information useful, please give me a like and a subscribe. Thanks.